Really pleased with the student section today. I mean, I thought they showed up. It looked like it was almost completely full. I thought Bison Nation answered the bell today. Our kids really appreciate that. It makes it a lot of fun. That's where it's what potentially could separate us from other, group of 6 schools, that it matters. And so I just encourage Bison Nation to continue to show up. I thought really clean, fast start from Cole Payton. Who was a great CEO today, made plays, tough plays, took profits, found profits, just kept us ahead of the chains with some grittiness. I think the tailback run game needs to be just a little bit better, especially early in the game. But with that being said, our ability over the last 2 years to take advantage of down defense, you want to play 9 on 8, you want to play 10 on 9, 7 on 6. We have the ability to throw it downfield, and I really like the direction that this offensive system is headed. We've got a few more answers than we used to have, and I'm really excited about that. I'm happy that the defense was challenged a little bit, but, they caught us. They had a better call than our call, quite frankly. We just got to have some presence from the second level on the touchdown. But once again, special teams, I thought was ready to go. I think defensively they settled in. We played good complementary football early on. 7 penalties for 75 yards is far too many, and it's too many regardless of what they were. We need to be much better. With that, guys, let's get some questions going, and I'm excited.
Coach, 2 out of 10 on third down. Your reaction to just struggle on that?
No, I didn't even know. I didn't even realize. Last week's performance on third down wasn't very good either. So we need to get that cleaned up. I thought obviously there's a drop in there that you don't plan on Bryce dropping the ball very often. And then again, there are a couple of those situationally late in the game where we're just not. I told Danny, one more throw. Okay, and I kind of ball goes up, we're taking a shot, we're up 30 points. Our guys need to play, and I'm not going to apologize about that, but we're some of those situationally. I got to look at it. 2 for 10, if that's in the middle of this game, that's nowhere near championship level football and needs to improve.
Cole Payton, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's pretty, I think, the 3rd highest total ever for a single game for a Bison quarterback. That puts him in some elite company throwing the football.
Yeah, he's done. He's been well trained as a young guy. I think, again, I like where we're at with our protection schemes, where the system is moving. We're comfortable winning a game, throwing the ball, and not coming in here and apologizing for it. If they decide to take away the run with numbers, angles, and leverage isn't very good, then we have to get the ball out to the perimeter. And I was shocked they put 10 guys in there, and Bryce Lance was sitting there one-on-one. Quite frankly, that number could easily be 400 yards. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to who we played, but they were totally committed to stopping the run today. And, we could have put it up a couple more times, and I would have actually been encouraged to see what would have happened.
Are you more impressed with Cole's arm and the way he's throwing the ball, or with what he's seen and making decisions? I know you mentioned in some other games that you were impressed with his processing or whatever you.
Yeah. No, I think he really is doing a good job staying true to being process-oriented, progression-oriented. I would start there. That's where it all starts. But honestly, he's probably been a little more accurate than I would have thought after 3 games. I would have thought we maybe had a little bit more work. I'm not impressed. His arm strength is good, right? His ability to throw the ball is really good. But he's been really accurate on these downfield throws, and we missed some during fall camp. So the work those guys do, I mean, you have to kick those guys off the practice field. Cole and Raja and Bryce, if they miss a ball, they stay out there for 20 minutes and continue to try to get it better, and you got to remove them. They're working hard at it. I'm really pleased where we're at with the pass game. I think Joe Brashauner deserves a little credit. I really do. He's gotten better and better this fall camp, and obviously he was well trained as a young person from a really good coach. Cole, this isn't surprising to us in-house, but I would say his accuracy's been a little bit better than I thought it would be.
Bryce Lance, especially on the little pass out to the sideline where he got a block from Logan Conklin, actually, and then kind of just outran everybody.
Yeah, kind of flashback to Darius Shepard. I don't know if we hit a big one against South Dakota State. That was the way you used to have to try to move the ball, and it was on that left sideline away from us. But, if we can get some of that stuff going as an added element of our offense as far as relief in the run game to bad numbers, and people want to go out there and play, 2 over 1, cloud coverage, and we can get them blocked. Hey, how about the blocking on the perimeter today? That's equally as good. And then I thought Bryce helped himself, showing some long speed was really critical. But if that part of our offense can come together, the screen game, the RPO, the relief game, if we can continue to add that, then, we just don't have to beat everybody up in the core every week.
Thoughts on your defense after 3 games?
Yeah, I think I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the communication. Grant's grown a lot. I mean, for as mature of a guy he is, and what an example for our players that he is. I think he owned some things last year that he wanted to be better at. I think their communication on the headset. Cody Morgan's been a great addition. I miss Goose every day, but Cody Morgan's a great addition. And man, Devin Kleiman is growing and getting better. LJ's doing a good job. I think that whole staff, we're going to see those guys continue to grow together. There's some young guys. Will Johnson's better today than he was a year ago. I think they're playing fast. It looks to me like we're corralling the ball. Like we have really good team speed out there and they're playing hard at times. And, Toby put together some really good rushes. Keenan Wilson and Dutenheffer ready to go. Logan Wilson. I think that we have some depth. I think we need to get Altapeter back. He had a calf today, and then our linebacker depth is getting better. Ray James was able to play today. I'm pleased with our defense where it's at right now.
Evaluate after 3 games where you're at in your mind.
Well, I think we got to get in there and do some self-scout next week, and along with jumping on South Dakota. Make no mistake, bye weeks are all about cultivating and creating an edge for your next opponent, right? Taking advantage of that. Somewhere in there, we have to also identify weaknesses that we have. We got to get some good-on-good work, and then we need to get away and rest. We're going recruiting on Friday. The players will be off Saturday, and that doesn't scare me one bit. We got a mature outfit, even though we're a little bit young. I think they'll do what we ask them to do. The third down stuff right now, week 1, I think we were 55%. Week 2, as far as on paper, we were below the Mendoza line. 40, and then this week, 2 of 10's not good enough, so we'll get their attention on that. And then tailback run game, I just like to see a little more consistency. The backs are running just fine. We're running good. We got to have some better answers for this double eagle defense that we're seeing, the center and both guards covered up. I think we got to establish a consistent run game with the tailbacks, and we'll continue to work at that.
Thoughts on Donovan Woolen? I think there was a stretch in the first quarter where he had 3 plays in a row where it was like tackle, pressure, sack. So what stood out about what he's been able to do?
Well, kind of what stands out to me is kind of come back to Jeff's question 2 weeks ago. Like, well, what is a guy like that, his length? And so there's a bunch of plays that he's making that we'll never recognize. But for a defensive guy to kind of be opportunistic, and as he flashes, right, it's hard not to recognize him on the blitz. It's hard to not recognize him around the ball. I think he had a couple really good hits today. I think Donovan Woolen will be a much more physical player 3 weeks from now than he is today. The sky's the limit. I really like the way he's playing. I don't know if it showed up on, or if you guys noticed, but I got after him a little bit with the celebrations and the ball's on the ground and we didn't scoop it up. We need to pick the ball up, okay? And so, our guys are still growing, and that's what excites us about being teachers of football, is that we got some things that we can still clean up, and that's exciting.
Speaking of growing, Cole Payton is a guy who's had his time to sit and learn behind some really good quarterbacks. And so how do you think that experience has helped him going into this season?
Those who stay will be champions and will become their best version of themselves. They'll reach their full potential, period.
You talked earlier this week about the secondary getting a challenge. Did you feel they fared well today?
Well, I thought so. There's some competitive situations. We're not that good. We can't just watch it live. That's why we watch so much tape. So I want to get my eyes on some of those coverage things. But it looked like we were plastered a couple of times. It looked like they made some plays. They had some skill out there. And the quarterback most certainly, could deliver the ball and throw the ball. My first impressions are pretty good. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to your question. No, Cole's taken full advantage of everything he's learned. He saw value in being in this unbelievable program that a lot of people have helped to run, supported by so many. And, we got some really good evidence that, just stick to it and good things will happen. And I'm excited about that moving forward. We're doing some really good things with this program, and we may lose a kid or two. So what, now what, we'll move forward. But he's taking full advantage, man. Cam rubbed off on him. All these quarterbacks, the tradition we got going here, come to NDSU and be the best version of yourself, and you'll get a chance to throw it with elite NFL concept stuff.
I mentioned Logan Conklin earlier, the kid from Minot. He's got a chance. He moved up a little bit because of some injuries. He had a nice catch to start the game. And then, again, the block that he threw for Lance on the outside was kind of the key to the play.
I think you guys touched on it in recruiting when I didn't know him that well, right? But I had to announce this class, right? Hey, I think Logan Conklin would be successful as a linebacker and can be a really good special teams player. He's a big, strong, physical guy. My concern is like 14 runs out there. It's just always a run. We can't do that. So he's got to keep developing as a receiver. But he's most certainly in the top 2 or 3 of our guys when it comes to physically matching up with safeties and blocking people. That run play, I was a little bit disappointed in the result. We need to find a way to score. Because that thing, we had everybody in the country blocked except for the backside corner or safety, whoever made it. And Logan Conklin was right at the point of attack. We're really pleased with him.
Throw from Payton that stood out today. The one where he scrambled and threw to Kessel on the sideline was kind of a backbreaker for SEMO. That was pretty good. And he threw a sideline ball to Bryce that was pretty good as well.
Both the throws to our sideline, those outcuts to the field were in time, in rhythm, and were really good throws. Raj came down with the one, we call it an Indy route, 14 to 16-yard speed out. That was impressive. I think, putting the ball where only Reese could catch it, where he's getting moved and he's off his spot is impressive. And then once again, Reese, he's kind of like one play a game right now, but made a big play, and I'm really happy for him. But I guess I got to look at the tape to see what he missed, see how he grades out. The gold zone stuff that Coach Larson came up with, the diagonals that we hit to Raj came Scott clean, was really good. I thought those guys on offense worked really hard in the gold zone plan this week, even though we fizzled out a couple times in the high red.
Uniforms?
I thought it was awesome. I got to be honest. Like I said so many times, these kids deserve to do something cool, but I'm looking forward to getting back in our traditional look too. But I thought Under Armour nailed it. Thank you to Todd and Matt Larson, and I mean that. Like you could just say, "Oh, we don't need to do it." Like, let's consider some things and let's give it some thought, and then let's go execute it. I thought it was really good. I feel bad for the people that have to watch our film and try to decipher tight ends and receivers because their numbers probably don't show up great on film, but that was awesome. They were a classy, sharp look, and I thought our kids handled all the distractions really well.
Broadcaster as well, Sergeant Attorney.
What's that?
Broadcaster as well as Sergeant Attorney.
Yeah.
Kessel made another play. You mentioned it earlier, but just, is he going to demand, we got to play him more with what he's done for the first 3
Well, he's
games?
come up with 2, last week, let's be honest, anybody could have caught it. They cut him loose kind of thing, but this is a contested catch. He's shown the ability in practice versus good players to make contested catches. I think we're going to have to really look at that, especially as a weapon maybe in the low or medium red zone, some matchup football. And he runs so well. The ball that Raj caught, we actually had that up and ready out of 12 personnel to let him try to run the pipe because they were playing cover 2 and we thought we had a good matchup on the mic. And, Raj came down with the one, or we got a PI. And we were thinking about getting Reese that same kind of call. He's really shown the ability to stretch the team vertical. I'll take one more.
You were talking about special teams really standing out. What did you see from Bickerton, really starting to pump more? Better?
I saw what he's capable of, and then I'm glad that he kind of has my back a little bit. I've been telling you guys he's punting the crap out of it in press conferences, and then, we shank one the first week or whatever. We don't hit a good red zone. I thought he bombed the ball today. I thought he was really on point. We're going to get him a little help this week, get his coach around him a little bit, at least get him some video to him and stuff like that. I thought Will Stiles showed up. I know he made the one big play on kickoff, but his fit allowed for that thing to get shut down on kick cover. LJ had an inclination. I'll just be honest. I didn't know if I agreed with it. And we kind of, had a discussion. And, thankfully LJ stood up for what he believes in, and I mean that. LJ did a good job standing on the table for that kid, and he did it. And looks like we got a productive bullet player at the one position on kickoff. It was really good.
What was it like out there throwing it around the field?
I mean, it was a blast. Shout out to the guys up front protecting my butt, and then, we got some cover 4 and some man coverages from SEMO that, with the best wide receiver room in the country, like we got to take advantage of that. And so, shout out to those guys.
Thoughts on this offense after 3 games? I know it's early still a little bit, non-conference. What are your thoughts?
I think we're pretty good. We do a lot of things. Shout out to Coach Larson, putting us in the right position at the right time and us just going and execute. But the beauty of it is there are plays out there to be made. I wish I had some plays back today. I wish, the offense had some plays back. And that's the beauty of it is we've got so much more to improve on and go to work and get better at.
Coming into today knowing that you were going to have to throw the ball a little bit more and that they were going to probably load the box against you a little bit more?
Oh yeah, yep. I remember our team meeting on Monday afternoon. Coach Polasek looked me in the eyes and said, "Send the ball."
Did you anticipate going deep as much as you did? Because you were throwing the
Yep.
ball downfield.
Yep. Like I said, that was the plan. In the plan. Yep.
Raja, 2 touchdowns, continue to produce for this offense. What's it mean for you to have that confidence, but also your coaches trust you to be on the field for those plays?
Honestly, it starts up front. Without them, they're not giving him time to, get me the ball to make those plays. But again, shout out to those guys. Shout out to him. He's in the right spot at the right time. I feel like he compliments me in a lot of different ways. I feel like we've been building really good chemistry, but that didn't just start this year. That kind of happens behind closed doors. It's just being brought to light this year. So, with me being able to make those plays, I feel like I've just been gaining a lot of confidence, and he's been giving me that confidence.
Raj, I can get a sense of how you guys attack these 3 teams in non-conference. I mean, there's no Colorado or teams like that. So how did you attack them as a team? Dress them and approach them, I guess.
We approach each team the exact same way. It's a faceless opponent. We go in there each week with one goal, and that's to go 1-0. We got to be dominant on, all 3 phases of the game. But, to answer your question, we treat everyone the same.
Cole, 348 passing yards today, which is 3rd most ever in a game by an NDSU quarterback. So you did something that Cam never did, that Trey never did, that Wentz never did, that Stick never did. Just shortly after the game, what does that mean that you're up in that elite level, at least in this one game?
It's pretty cool. That's an honor for sure. But just like I said before, shout out to letting us go throw the ball around the yard today. To shout out to Coach Larson and all the wide receivers, and so that's a pretty cool honor.
Donovan, there was a stretch where you had sack, tackle loss. What were you guys seeing there on defense that led to the success of the field for you guys?
A lot of the formations they came out in, we've seen on film, so we knew what was coming, and it allowed us to play fast and make big plays.
That follow-up is, 6'8" quarterback. What was it like trying to take him down in the backfield and on plays here?
I would say, just hit him as hard as you can. He's gonna fall down. So yeah.
Obviously, they had a big touchdown. But how much confidence did you have in the defense to regroup after that touchdown?
A lot of confidence. I knew it was just one play. You had to scratch that play and move on, and we did that as a defense. We came back out, got some stops. And there's always stuff to improve on. So we're looking to improve on stuff like that.
It's good to play with Bryce. Cole kind of flipped it out there for him, and he got a block from Logan, and it was off to the races after that. That's a pretty good feeling, I guess, for you.
Oh yeah, just the pitch and the catch, or a quick one turning into 70 is pretty cool. But yeah, great perimeter blocking by Logan Conklin on that play, and then obviously with Bryce's speed, no one caught him, so it was pretty cool.
I don't know which you 3 act as a fashion spokesman, but thoughts on all white, Raja?
You know how I feel about it. I feel like I've been pushing for these for a while, so to finally be able to put these on. It's an honor. I feel like we all felt good. We play good. There's not much more to say.
What's the emphasis going into the bye week? Get refreshed to start the Valley.
Just to improve. Maybe for guys that are banged up, get back in the training room, get healthy. Get healthy and then improve and. Maybe give some opportunities for young guys, get some young guy scrimmages going on this week with not having a game next week. And so just getting the bodies back, getting to improve, getting to build up those younger guys.
Well, so far this season, how much fun are you having?
A blast. Absolute blast. Yeah.
Cole, I remember you and I talking during fall camp about having this opportunity. What's it mean that you've been able to get on the field now with these guys and lead them? And, it's producing, the offense is producing. What's that mean to you?
It means the world to me. I've been working for these opportunities for a long time now, and it's paying off. But there's still work to be done and things to improve on.
Rajah, there's a chance other teams might try to take away the run like these guys did, which would open up opportunities for you guys to have a day like you did today. Would you welcome that? Would you enjoy that?
Of course, I wouldn't turn that down. But I still believe in our run game 100%. You know, we work so much on it, and I feel like we only get rewarded as receivers in order to block on the perimeter, in order to get that going. It's drive starters for us. You know, it's opening games for us. So, you know, we want to be solid in the run game first. Even when they do try to take it away from us, I still believe in us, you know, as a whole. But, yeah, with that, you know, being said, it does give us more opportunities to make plays.
Talk about the blocking downfield a little bit by the receivers, because that's something we see year after year by NDSU receivers. And we saw it again today. You mentioned with Logan kind of springing Bryce there. How much you guys work on that in practice, and how much of an emphasis for you block down?
It's a very big emphasis. Again, like I was saying, like for us to get rewarded, it starts with us blocking. So, that goes for every coach on, you know, the offensive staff. Like they harp on us blocking on the perimeter because that's what, you know, springs big plays, explosive plays, and then it also, like, obviously it opens it up for us in the pass game.
Coach mentioned getting after you a little bit for a ball being on the ground and you celebrating a big play. How important are those small things for you guys to continue building on, especially as you go into a bye week and go into conference play?
Very important. Those little things could flip a game. You know, say that was a fumble and I didn't pick it up. It could, in an intense game, that could be very, very important. So, you know, we'll keep improving on stuff like that. You know, correcting stuff like that through this bye week onto the next game.